Good afternoon. We generally have a halacha that once the time for a mitzvah hits, there is a prohibition to go ahead and eat prior to performing that mitzvah. However, some may be aware that there is a practice in some shuls, some yeshivos, and some communities that they specifically pause, they stop in the middle of davening on Rosh Hashanah prior to Tekiat Shofar. They have Kiddush, and then they'll return for Tekiat Shofar, which seems to be against this halacha. So what's going on? The Mishnah Berurah mentions that this is not correct. The Mishnah Berurah says that there is a strict prohibition not to eat prior to performing the mitzvah of Shofar. And he explains that what's the reason? The reason is there's a concern that we'll get carried away and we'll get involved in this meal or in this food and we'll end up missing the time for the mitzvah altogether. Because of that reasoning, some want to suggest that even according to the Mishnah Berurah, it would be okay under certain circumstances. What would those circumstances be? They would be in a case where you're not stopping to have lunch, you're not having a formal meal, you're simply stopping, you're making Kiddush, having a simple snack, and moving on. However, the Mishnah Berurah says that's really only even something to rely upon in case of great need, that there's really a prohibition. In case of great need, then one can have a te'im, one can have a snack, but not a meal. So based off of that, some say that it's okay to go ahead, to take a break, to have a te'ima, I'm not having a full meal, but to go ahead and have a snack prior to performing shofar. But some oppose this greatly, including Rabbi Akiva Eger and others, who said that this would be inappropriate. However, there were some Gedolim that actually defended this practice. That Tzitz Eliezer of Oldenburg as well as Rav Avad Yosef both say that it's not a problem. One can have a te'ima, one can have a snack prior to performing, to listening, to blowing the shofar. Because there's no concern if you're having Kiddush in shul or in yeshiva, there's no concern that the whole tzibur, the whole community is going to forget about the mitzvah of Tekiat Shofar. You're all right there in shul. You're going to go back in and have blow Tekiat Shofar, and there's no problem of forgetting. And therefore, since that's the whole issue altogether, there is no concern. However, there is another problem that comes up, which is some claim it's a lack of kavod for the mitzvah. It's inappropriate to go ahead and eat before performing this mitzvah. The response of those who maintain this practice, though, is that while we understand that, in this circumstance, it's a long day of shul, and in fact, there is actually additional kavod by eating now, because what's the purpose of eating? Is that we've been in shul for so long, we're exhausted, we're not in the frame of mind, so we're going to go have a snack to help us regain that energy to be able to focus properly on Tekiat Shofar, and that, therefore, some rely on that. At the end of the day, there are those who oppose this practice, there are those who maintain this practice, and one should follow the practice in their community, but in whichever practice we are following, should be sure to have our proper kavanah, proper intent to fulfill the mitzvah in the best way possible. Have a fantastic day.